Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome into Celestial Oracle Codes. So, there is a very transformative energy in the air right now, and also Celestial Code 5222 did pop up as the first Celestial Code that appeared to me today. Celestial codes and angel numbers manifest to me all the time, and no matter where I am. But at the end of the day, the spiritual teams, the guides, have asked me to start conveying the first code that is revealed to me in the day, right? So the first code that manifests for me in the day from now on will be the celestial code of the reading of the day. And so, and I know that sometimes I do more than one reading in a day, but that first reading or the daily reading will be the one that has the code in it. But so that's been something that I'm being called to do. The collective reading will be a bit different structured than the celestial codes on my Celestial Oracle Codes channel, because the Celestial Oracle Codes channel bridges the psychological and the spiritual, the scientific aspects of angel numbers, and needs to be presented in a structure that makes it scientific so that it can be respected in that form. And that makes it universally known and understood to be a coherent aspect of reality, right? So it's more about the vibration and frequency, less about the manifestations that come in your life from the actual number. Because to embark on or partake in the vibration and frequency, or even the aspects that the number presents to you, is actually an aspect of your own vibration and frequency, right? So your consciousness change, you change the way that you're doing something, you're functionally going after something, you're going after your desires differently, you're accepting something or receiving things differently in your life, or you're embodying something that's different, that's calling things in differently, or restructuring things around you in a different way. And usually that equals a manifestation of an animal or a number or other sequence or some other universal aspect or energy that can represent the shift that's happened within you. So that is where that comes from. And so we needed a real structured way to convey that to the populace or the public that was themed and ultimately structured as a systematic way to be categorized and categorically expressed to the public so that it could be functionally utilized in a universal and in a socially conscious way. So that is why those are set up in the way that they are on Celestial Oracle Codes, Angel Numbers Decoded, my channel, so that they are healing for the general public. But also the way that it's structured today will be because it's a channeled message, and obviously a message for this collective, whom it will be in this reading, which will be viable for this reading, and it is timeless. So whenever it comes to you, it is relevant, and there will be messages in this reading and perhaps in that angel number or celestial code, as I call them, that you receive today if you stay until the end, because that is when I'll be letting that come out. So let's get into the reading now that we've had that big tutorial and understanding coming out as the magician. So you're embodying a very creative energy right now. This also calls you to utilize your skills and to really look back on everything that has come before you. So look at all that you have on the table of your life, or whatever it is that you are creating in your life. And also look at all of the growth around you. So all of the inspiration that you provided in your life, all of the different aspects of your life, and also making sure that you're focusing on the divine connection that you have and the way that things are growing, right? The way that things have been heaven sent for you. So this is also the blessings confirmation received, the blessings from the universe that are being presented to you and that are really trying to free-flowingly come to you, right? They're kind of flowing down, confirmation received, kind of flowing down from the universe, and you can see that even the as above side, or the divine masculine side, we'll call it that, is already reaching towards the heavens, reaching towards, making the action towards, to make the connection with the divine, to make the connection with the spiritual guides, to make the connection with the deeper aspects of yourself inside, and to make a difference in this world that you're living in and your reality creation and the ultimate creation of the life you love, or of your general purpose and your desires and manifestations that you want to experience in this life. So this is also about the magician energy, creating through the aspect of utilizing all your resources, all your skills, all the aspects and versions of yourself that you feel like either are need to be hidden away or aren't the most desirable. It doesn't matter. This is about really loving into yourself from a creative standpoint, from the creator standpoint, right? From the creator, that it doesn't matter what it is, it's my creation. And ultimately, I have the accountability over the creation. This is my life, right? To functionally utilize everything that I have at my disposal to reach for the stars or make a difference in co-creation with the divine, where things can flow back into my reality like the flowers on the vine, and then grow to support me from beneath me, like the ones on the ground here. And ultimately, shrouded in the red lets you know that there's a deeper connection to manifesting in this physical world. To a deeper connection to attracting happiness is in that. A deeper connection to the body and senses. A deeper connection to the deeper experiences in life. The fundamental physical experiences, right? So this is deep presence, okay? I am so present that there's nothing that can take me away, because I know that in the present is the only place where I can effectively create the future that I want and ultimately live this life that I want. Be in this energy that creates the life I love, or just creates things as I choose, and has the right to be the predominant creator in my life, right? So it has that fundamental energy. And then the white underneath shows that you already have the deeper insight, the inner truth, the connection to your inner being, the connection to the divine, the higher insight, the higher vibrational infinite beings of light, okay, to the higher councils. For those who resonate as starseed, okay, to the galactic councils, to cosmic family, to spiritual royalty, whatever. Doesn't matter what you identify with, but this is a deeper connection to the divine. Whatever resonates with you, that is what that is. That is always what that infinity symbol means, okay? On any of those cards, on the strength card, it does not matter. It is always a deeper connection to the divine that is given me the deeper insight to have the power to tame the lion, right? To have control over my mind, to have control over the narrative, and control over the factors that I let make me feel fearful or unsafe, and that I let take my rights and my overall predominant creator rights in this reality away, right? Take my choices away. Take my beliefs and confine me with them. Make me feel like I don't have all of these tools at my disposal. Make me feel like I'm not covered in the ability to attract happiness. Make me feel like I don't have that connection to the divine. Make me feel like I'm not already reaching for the stars and creating as I go, having creations flow back to me and having my own grow, right? So at the end of the day, this is also about using all of the elements of your life, right? With all of these tools on the table. So this is about using your relationships and your connection to your intuition, plus your deep sense of compassion for others and self-care, self-love for yourself, creating sensuous and respectful but impactful situations and circumstances in your life that lead to fulfillment and growth and truly lighting you up inside. Okay, so this is also utilizing your connection to your body and whatever you do for work, or any way that you can utilize your service to others, right, to create a more fulfilling aspect in yours and their life. So for some of you, this is about utilizing your skills and special abilities to teach and help others to manifest their lives, or teaching and to manifesting your own, right? Manifesting your own life and teaching and helping others, or helping your loved ones to manifest theirs. So this is also about utilizing your spiritual gifts and your talents, or the parts about you that maybe you've kept hidden, okay? So that's another aspect of this, where we're finally stepping into the limelight and we're seeing as above, as so below. So there's nothing wrong with who I am inside, and that means that that needs to be externalized. This is also that energy. So it's a really beautiful, freeing energy. that is creative and just everything that you really need to be. Page of Cups on the bottom of the deck to show me that everything that I just said is the truest thing I could have ever said. It shows me that you are moving through life with a deeper understanding of your emotional state, but you're letting the emotions kind of lead the way. And you also are having a more creative spark with this fish coming out, but that might also, for some of you, be an abundance that is unforeseen, that is coming out of this blessing that you finally recognized and you really gave it the right attention to let you see that fish inside, okay? So ultimately, you might be a little bit emotional right now. Some of you might be going through some kind of ups and downs. And that's not to say that you're depressed, right? But it is to say that there is a sensitivity that you're feeling in your mood at this time with the Page of Cups coming out, where you're learning to not only navigate this new central nervous system recalibration that you kind of went through, and also the way that things are affecting you, right? So this is you showing up in reality and understanding how you're feeling in your body, but also letting that guide the way to helping you realize the boundaries that you need to create. And ultimately enforcing your life to make sure that you are always aware and not taken out of your body and your senses so that you're not taken away from that fish inside. And that creative, right, aspect of life. That's really what that is. So this can be, for some of you, this can be a new relationship. This can be a message coming that's an invitation. This can be anything that has to do with messages coming through to provide relations. This is also the yes card, letting you know that you should say yes when you are invited to something. Maybe it's something that you might have said no to before, but just make sure it's within reason. Nothing that has been, it's nothing that betrays or opposes your core values, but ultimately something that can lead to an experience that you might not have allowed yourself to have before, especially if it was because you were afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone. So that is a huge part of this. This is finally accepting the way that your emotions are flowing and flowing with them to the point where they can guide you in an intuitive way into new patterns, relationships, understandings, and awareness that fulfills you on an emotional level, that creates a new love for life on the inside and creates new externalized love on the outside. So that's a really powerful message that you're not seeing about what's been going on with you, but that's what you're doing. You're recalibrating to this new emotionality, this new emotional state that is really positioning you in the position to finally realize that you can create and truly live into this reality that you love. And ultimately, be the one who is in touch with the divine. Be the one who is growing divine. Be the one who has it all growing all the time, right? And so that's a beautiful message. So let me see what's coming out with our magician. What do we need to know? Oh, victory is coming out, and well, I put them up there like that, so that must be how we want them to be seen. So if we looked at them on the board, they look like this. But at the end of the day, what that is the Knight of Pentacles shows that a practical plan and steady progress, right? Trusting in your abilities, okay? Trusting in the way that things are changing also, and not trying to rush things is the other aspect of this. So coming up with, it can be a methodical plan, but not over thought, okay? Just don't overdo it with overthinking with this, and also don't destabilize yourself or your progress with a lack of forward movement with this, okay? So this is very stable and very functional, but at the end of the day, it is also the energy of a somewhat procrastination, but it's not true procrastination, okay? It just looks like that on the outside. It's just way too, it's being over practical, okay? Like it's being prudent. Prudence is also in this. And so we don't want to be prudes, right? And we don't want to undercut our blessings or our opportunities by not stepping up to the plate in this energy, right? Which this is good energy if you can temper this energy with this divine energy of the magician. If you can temper the energy of or you know what I mean, that fixed energy of the Knight of Pentacles, like look at it. Look at his horse. Does he look like he's moving? No. He looks like he is not afraid to be looking dead at his little pinnacle right there, because he knows he's not going anywhere. He's chilling. He's thinking about things. He's making the next plan. He's visualizing it, right? So that's the other aspect of this. He's concretizing it in his view. All right. So that's another thing. Come up with a real plan for exactly what you want to do. Figure out exactly what that looks like to you. And when you do that, utilize all of those other aspects. But this pinnacle coming out right next to this lets me know that on the table, remember, you've got all the things. You've got all the tools. You've got them. You've already got them. So you don't have to worry about going to get them or finding them somewhere. At the end of the day, you already have them, but you need to utilize them in the correct order, right? Well, this night comes out to let you know the order that they go. So the first one you need is the pinnacle. And what that means for some, it might mean that you need a loan. Who knows? But others, it might mean that you just need to trust what's in your soul and know that you already know the way to go. Plus, come up with a divine plan or something on which you can stand. Foundation and stability is the thing you need to know. As his horse is standing, looking like it has nowhere to go, it is really letting you know the foundation and the stature, the real stability that is in that picture, right? Where there's nothing that could probably even tip that horse over with him sitting there looking. And that horse looks firmly planted in the view and in the fact that it knows there's nothing that it has to do before he says so. That's the most important thing that's coming through for you. So this is really tasking out the physical and material aspects of your being. This is figuring out exactly what resources are needed and doing whatever are the proper things to bring you to the functional understanding of what you want in this life. So that's visualizing it clearly what you want, getting clear on what you want to experience, and then coming up with a real plan. So concentrating on this, seeing the steps that we have to take from this standstill, right? Looking into the view of this pinnacle, of this world that we have, looking at what somebody, so now we need to really visualize, right? If you did the sacral chakra that I did, sacral chakra meditation that I did yesterday, so you should be ready to do this today. And so you should be able to visualize what that looks like when you want, or whatever you want is manifested in your life. If it's a holiday, look, what does it look like when you're on the holiday? And with three senses, what does it smell like? Are you smelling Mai Tais? Is there lemon in the air because people have their drinks? Do you feel the sun on your back? Is there like the smell of banana boat because it's, you know, people are tanning? Like, what is it? What's the view? And then once you can come up with what the end result looks like for you, well, then come up with what the person who already has it has had to do, right? What was the last step they did before they finally got to turn the key in that doorknob on their new house? Was it going to see the banker or the realtor or the loan officer? Like, who was it? What were the steps? Come up with the steps and then write them out, right? You're going to write them out from this standpoint of the night. And as you write them out, you're going to write them out in the order reverse, right? So if it's the turning the key on the house, going to get the key from the realtor. And then before going to get the key from the realtor, being at the banker with the loan or whatever, you know what I mean? However we sign the contracts. And then working our way all the way back, Knight of Pentacles style, okay? So it's not this, it doesn't have to be the fastest process, but it does need to be a stable and practical process, which means it needs to get done, and it does need to be done methodically, right? So this is why I'm telling it to you this way. This is what Spirit wants you to know. So let me say this. As you create this list, right, from backwards back to where you are. So this is from the house, okay, where we're looking at right here, all the way back to the cat or the, you know, to wherever you came from or wherever you are today, at the dining room table, the living room, couch, whatever. Now, as you make this list and it works all the way back to you, once you have that list of those items, right, that you are truly bringing in from this Knight of Pentacles energy and the Magician energy, where you're about to create exactly what you want to experience in reality. And ultimately, because these are all the tools you have on the table, I'm going to show you how to start working with that pinnacle right now today. And so now that you've created this list, right, and we're in this step of concentration after we visualize this intense desire, right? So we started with this intense desire. We visualize what that looks like. Mai Tais, lemons, whatever, or the house, the key, the who. And now we know exactly who we have to see. We know all the steps that it takes for someone who is already living that dream, right? And so now we know the steps that they need to have already been through, which makes it easy for you to step yourself right back to you. And that's what you're trying to do. Now, as you make this list practically with the magician energy, creating a new reality, you will eventually have all the steps leading back to you, right? So then you flip it and reverse it and turn the steps around, and that is exactly what you do. All right, so once you do this, what the cards have shown me today, you will have victory, and the Chariot has come to say. It's the trip. I love it. Victory and success will come to you if you do it this way that I'm telling you. All right, so that's beautiful. This shows you that you already have power. This is the balance of the light and the dark, and I was called right to them. Right to them. So this shows you the power of the divine over the divine feminine within you, and this shows the power over the divine masculine within you. So you are moving and being and receiving in the perfect energy right now for success. I'm telling you right now, all you do it. Make the list, flip it and reverse it, step into this magician energy, use your visualization, right? You feel what that looks like, and don't clench and don't bail if it starts looking like something that you didn't visualize. That means, remember, the universe is trying to match or beat you, and it's trying to beat you. So if it has to, it'll match you. And that's when it looks a little bit more like this, where we visualized it. But ultimately, it's trying to look like, woo, this, okay? Inspired by this, and then, or this, inspired by this, and then turned into that, right? That victory with the power over everything. And ultimately, with that divine guidance coming through, see this? Angel wings right there? It's always meaning divine guidance. And this, the red cross, is that deep protection, okay? So, that's divine protection and guidance, right? Plus, power over the divine feminine masculine aspects of you, which is the creative aspect of the magician. So I'm talking to a very spiritual, very advanced, very powerful being in this energy. The bottom of the deck comes out to reveal that energy and everything that I've described to you here will lead to new community and will lead to new understanding. So this is also new networks. This is new networking. And for some of you, for others, this can just be a new tribe, new sense of community in general. Or this can just be a small group of people that you finally resonate with, and you finally can either trade ideas or just trade concepts, trade conversation, trade reciprocity, trade understanding, trade being with each other, okay? That's what I'm hearing. Trade being with. So being with and understanding what that means, and to finally have someone understand you, who you're with anyway, right? In reality. So for some of you, that's something that's coming through. I see why they were like, this is 522 energy. 5222 energy. Like, oh my gosh. Okay. So because we still have to do the angel number, I'll do these, and then I feel like this is it. Like I was gonna clarify, but I don't really feel like I need to. I feel like I clarified with the cards. We channeled the clarification. All right, so recently, or either recently you have walked away from something and did something that was emotionally draining, or just something that was emotionally taxing, or just something that wasn't emotionally fulfilling, something that you knew would never lead to that 10 of cups or that 8 of cups. So you have to leave the 8, right? You have to leave the 8 of cups behind. I'm just going to say it like it is. You had to leave the 8 of cups, and it was probably an emotional situation or something that was either tumultuous or wasn't the most desirable feeling, right? For anyone involved. I'll say it that way. So it was a little rocky. The leaving was a little rocky. And ultimately, this 8 of cups energy was, for a lot of people, it's more than enough. Let's say the way that it is, all right? The sun is shining. If you were actually over there with the cups, maybe you feel safe until, you got hit by a wave or whatever, and then it was probably even more uncomfortable, dank, cold, and uninviting than it already looks right here. But at the end of the day, you could have mustered it, right? Because the sun would have came back, or maybe that's actually the moon. It is the moon. So we're even in the night, but we can see wherever the moon shines, the sun shines too. And so at the end of the day, the sun would soon be back with you. But it does not change the fact that these cups were never going to be full of what you were desiring in your destiny or in reality. They were never going to be the blessings that you were guaranteed, is what I'm hearing. They were never going to be the 10 of cups that equals the fulfillment of all your dreams. And that is what you're looking at. That is what he's walking away to. That is what he's trying to do in that picture. Where he knows for a whole lot of folks, this 8 of cups would have been the perfect little repose. It would have been the perfect little escape from having to step out of your comfort zone and do it your own way, or having to show up and be something better and true, something that surprised everybody, even you, and made everything the best that life can get for you. So that is what he's doing. He's crossing whatever he has to, okay, to get to that 10 of cups energy. And let me tell you, not only if that's not you, then this is a roadmap to success for you if you want what we're talking about here today. Because if you're in this reading, it's your reading one way or another. But take what resonates, leave what does not. Because at the end of the day, whatever you decide to partake in or actually participate in, right? Go out and get is what you get. And so this is, obviously, I went out to go get something energy, right? And so we see that we found a blessing that came in tangible form. So that Ace of Pentacles comes out to let me know that there's something that you're creating and it is coming to fruition. You will be successful in it. Come up, do the tangible plan. Remember, Knight of Pentacles is a deep, sacred card for you now. When you see that, that should mean something totally different for you now. And ultimately, it's going to be that kind of logical, practical thinking that starts with the seed, right? That's what the Ace of Pentacles is. It's a seed of reality. It's a seed of a new beginning. It's a seed of a new understanding and a new awareness and a new experience, right? So a lot of the times it's a new environment. A lot of the times it's a new business or a new business partner or a new business relationship or a new relationship in general or a new lease on life or a new look at your body in a new way or you approaching work or getting a new career or you just approaching your reality creation skills a new way and finally coming up with the plan and walking away from what you don't want anymore and finally getting the victory that comes from whatever's in store after you walked away from what was not emotionally fulfilling you and leaving you in this creative energy on any given day, okay? And ultimately, once you realize the seed, once you step into this new form of reality, this new side of life for you, well, the star comes out to show you your exalted form, and that is true. So that is star energy, that is the star quality, that is the restoration that you've always needed, dreamed, that is the recalibration of the central nervous system, that is the new lease on life, that is the control of your mind, that is you being able, look at her, not only Aquarius energy, but also water barrier energy. So that means you having the sustenance and the fulfillment in you to pour into the pool, to pour into the land, and still do everything that you need to stay connected to the brightest star and to the highest light. So that's a beautiful message coming through. So that's what it looks like in tangible reality. So now that we got the Ace of Pentacles out here, let me get some clarifier cards. I was like, well, I guess I'll end it. And I'm good. I'm like, well, we got some don't end it cards. We got some don't end it cards, y'all. So we're gonna get some clarifiers, right? So each card that comes out will stay with the card that represents it in the sequence that we pulled everything out. So let me keep everything in the order that it came out so that we get our right card. So I'm going to pull all of our clarifiers and then we'll just go through and then we'll see what else we want to do. I'm like, let me not rush us out of here. So beautiful. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Okay. This deck is like so big to me. I'm just like, whoa. Alright. Beautiful. Now when not. Oh, okay then. Okay. So this, I actually want to clarify the ace one more time. Can we get one more clarifier? What is the Ace of Pentacles and Five of Water? Ace of Pentacles and Five of Water. Okay. What is the Ace of Pentacles and the here, let me clarify it. Okay, so we got a good amount of clarifier cards. So we got what we need. Here we go. Alright, so the Magician comes out to be clarified by the Hermit. So, ultimately, you not only have a deeper, see that the light, so normally it has the Hermit on there that is carrying the light, right? So the Hermit, if you can look at him on the regular card, and it doesn't really have it there because now you are the light. Okay, so that's why it's coming out to show you that. And because you are that, you're standing in that Magician energy, and the light can create with reality. So let me tell you, the card says, take time for contemplation to retreat and go within. Be a beacon for others on their path to spiritual enlightenment. So that, like I said, I'm talking to an advanced and a very high spiritual divine being. So this also, let me tell you about the Hermit, because that's the message that came on the card, but there's a deeper message here, especially tied to the Magician. And that deeper message is that not only are you holding the light, but you need to remember that you've already walked through the darkness, and those experiences, those traits, those things that you've gone through, all the things that people feel like make it, make it either hard for you or that they don't know that you've gone through, right? There's a lot that they don't know that you've gone through. And you've gone through things, let me say this. If you're in this reading and you made it this far, you've gone through things that others wouldn't make it through. You've gone through things that would kill others. And especially the people who may have been the ones who mocked you, right? So let's be really, really clear about who I'm talking to here. Because that Hermit energy, that isolation, that fixation on and focus came in to give you that enlightenment, to bring this light out of you so that you could be a stronger foundation for humanity or whoever you needed to, right? So, and it's a gift that you have the right to give. So it would be a shame if you were like them, right? Because they would never have made it to the point where the cards are about to turn out like I'm about to express to you. And that's also why I didn't end this reading, because I can see that there's something way, way deeper and way, way more special here. Especially with that little butterfly, moth, whatever it is, coming out, moth to the flame, moth to the light, and in this Magician energy. So with this coming out, I'm going to let you know right now, you have high faculties and manifesting abilities. So what that means is, you might not know this, but things might turn out for you sometimes. Sometimes you might get upset and it might affect the weather. Some of you might notice things like that. Other times, it'll seem like you'll be thinking something or about someone and they'll call right away. Or they'll pop up, right? Whatever you think about, it'll seem like it manifests. You might be even a red balloon and you'll see one flying through the sky. Things like that. But at the end of the day, this also means that those abilities are coming online and they're being upgraded and amplified through whatever this Hermit was, whatever this clarification of the Hermit, showing that it exalted you into the Magician, right? So that means something that you went through, whatever it was, and the cards aren't expressing that because they're like, we're over and done with that. We don't have to express it, but we do need to show where we're at now, and where we're at now is that light that the Hermit created for you, this deeper insight. Not only does it mean trust your knowing better than anyone else's, it means that you can you should explicitly trust your thoughts and make sure that you're going with your intuitive instincts. That's also the other version of that. But it's also utilizing those spiritual gifts and understandings and those comprehensions and deeper wisdoms and those deeper connections to inner truths and inner knowings. Express those to the world and help others with that. Be the light in the darkness and help all of the malls that need the light to find their way, right? Because at the end of the day, that's a part of your creative spark. And because you have those higher manifesting abilities, let me get back to that. That's what Spirits is calling me back to. Because you have those higher manifesting abilities, that means that you have the ability to manifest your desires at will. And that's what that was what that was, right when before you, I'm gonna say before you got into whatever this thing that was that caused you to become the light that is usually carried by the hermit and was really carried by the isolation and the walking through the darkness that the hermit represents, but ultimately exalted you in the light that has left you in the magician, which now the only thing left is the light and the magician, right? So so that it shows you exactly where you're at. And so you're being asked to create a world and a universe or a reality that you get to experience, right? So experience the universe in a way that is uplifting and fulfilling for you, but also utilizes all of those connections that you came up through and with your experiences with the divine and with humanity and just through your life. With all of the things that not only lit you up and made a difference for you before, right? Because there's some things from your childhood that you should be getting back to that really lit you up or helped you, right? It's connected you to the creative spark and connected you to this creative energy that you now need to really utilize this light effectively. And that leaves you to these manifesting abilities. So if you don't control them, they start to manifest in your life in the way that I already described. But if you learn to control them, then they will become less overly active for you, or what I like to call is active at inopportune times. Okay, so they'll become more under control, and that's why it's telling me to, that's why it did that for you. That's why they did that for you, because the Knight of Pentacles, that way that I told you to do that, that's the best way to get in control of this. That's the best way to get in control of this. Because it's the focus, and it's the intense desire, plus the visualization, and then the concentrated focus. And when you start taking action for it, it's going to seem like this goes from this to the Knight of Wands, but you have a practical plan that you already put in there, and ultimately you're moving with like you have more power than the light and the magician. Okay, it's like the universe is literally bending the knee energy, but it's because you have higher manifesting abilities, which means your ultimate goal and life purpose on this earth is going to be to manifest your desires at will. Okay, teach and help others to manifest their own. So you could come in the form of a life coach or a manifestation coach or any of those kinds of coaches, right? You could even be a business coach because you have businesses, right? That's a manifesting thing. But at the end of the day, one way or another, you're probably going to be more than that, right? You're a 10xer. So whatever you think you're going to be more than that. That's what that means. And ultimately, that means that it will be kind of your divine right and duty, but ultimately, one thing that you want to do will be to manifest your desires at will and take on the one you love's desires, right? Be their spiritual counsel and then their intellectual counsel, but at the same time, because that's this type of energy, when you hold the light and the magician like that, you are the spiritual counsel and the intellectual counselor for your significant other. I'll let you know that right now. You'll be the one who helps them manifest, because compared to you, everyone manifests like a 5-year-old. And you'll be the one who helps others to realize that they can do the same if they can get through whatever this is, right? They brought you into the light, but you will be the light that can help them create the steady plan and truly get to the awakening. Look at that as our clarifier card for that 10 of Pentacles. Get to the awakening that they need to finally make the plans that they need to create the life they love. The message on that card is, look at things in a different way and all will make sense. Look at it in the way that I told you, right? I'm sure the way that I just expressed it to you to describe this King or this Knight of Pentacles was a different way than you ever looked at your reality creation before, right? So now that I've given you that reality creation secret, utilize it. So let me tell you what the rest of that is before we go utilizing. Once you have that plan, right, and you have the concentrated form, you turn it around, you start taking those inspired actions, because now you have a list of inspired actions, and you turn it around and you start taking those one day, every day. You just get one of those crossed off that list, right? Starting back, and went all the way back to you sitting at that table. So that next thing should be something you can do tomorrow or whatever, right? Created the list today, did the first thing on the list tomorrow after I turned the list around. And then stay positive. Use positive affirmations, subliminals, whatever. All of that is to keep up your mental state, your emotional state, and ultimately recalibrate your central nervous system to the belief and the reframe of the lack of the limitation, right? The releasing of the limits and the acceptance or the receiving of the belief. And so if you, when you start putting action into it and seeing results, that will anchor in the belief and help you to embody whatever this awakening, whatever this plan that you have, right, that I've expressed that you need to create, that is connected to this light and this magician energy that is truly going to lead to this victory, and you not having to feel like you have to hoard or hold on to everything anymore, right? Where you have a different aspect of your reality, a new foundation in your reality is the other aspect of the Four of Earth. There's a new connection to the solidity, right? A new solidity in the way that you approach your world, a new concretization of your thoughts into things, a new understanding of the stability and the foundation that you have in this world, and also the success, right? You have this energy means that I've already expressed here. It means you have a foundational energy that is a connection to this material world or the way that things manifest in reality that ensures you will be successful with the chariot coming out with that Four of Earth. But the other message is not to let success, victory, and finance or your material world alienate you from your community and from your tribe or from who you want to experience in this life, right? Because the only thing you can replace in this life are people and experiences. And so you allowing your life to unfold, but not letting your material world or your attachment to material aspects of life, right? Money, possessions, and things that ultimately mean nothing if you have no one to enjoy them with, right? So this is about making sure that you are still staying true to those relationships that need to be cultivated and honored as you help others to awaken and step into whatever this practical plan is while you embody the magician and honor the light of the hermit. Ultimately, this Siamese or the ego 15 comes out to let me know exactly what the clarifier is. Okay, so confirmation received. So obviously, you may feel that you're trapped in your situation, but that's not true. Be careful not to overly focus upon material wealth and break free of negative thinking, okay? So when ego comes out, this is like the devil card, okay? So it really, really is like, and for it to come out right after this, so showing me that you're going to be victorious, showing me that there might be some alienation, or even people in your environment who are feeling at odds with either how wealthy you are, how much you make, or just how much more productive you are in reality, or just how much more weight, right, for of Earth Pinnacles, how much more weight you carry in this world, in this universe. Ultimately, with this chariot coming out, yeah, somebody knows that you are destined to be great. Okay, somebody knows it, and they are not too happy about it. So while you feel at odds with whatever aspect of an energy that is in the community, don't let that alienate you from the community. That's really what's coming through there. This ego, you may feel that you're trapped in your situation. You are not. And ultimately, this is also about releasing the confinements, constraints, and, right, any limitations or projections of limitations or misdirections and misconceptions and perceptions of others. So this is also releasing shackles and chains and any other bindings or non-beneficial restrictions and responsibilities that aren't yours. All of that is housed in the devil energy or the ego. And ultimately, that is what has come out to clarify that Eight of Cups. So that lets me know that that's what you're leaving behind, or you left behind, or you're being called to leave behind. Okay? To get into that energy. To get into the energy of this Ace of Pentacles, which is the new beginning, right? So let's talk about what that new beginning is, because I asked, right? I had to get some clarifier cards, because the new beginning can be a lot, especially with the Ace of Pentacles, and we know that it's going to be tangible results, right? So it's something that we can feel and experience and actually know that it's changed some external aspects in our world and reality, right? So I want to know some of those aspects, right? I'm sure you do too. We're not clarifying to not have clarity. That's no fun. All right, so the new beginning, right off the top, is to start you out, right? The first thing that came out was Five of Water. So the Five of Water often can be changes in the way that we feel, or changes in our relationships, or it can be changes in our intuitive and creative spark. So this can also be changes in our deep emotional state as well. All right, so the card says, focus upon the fact that Source loves you and always has the highest of intentions for you. A positive outlook makes it easier to recover from life's little difficulties so that you can move onward and upward. Beautiful. And this is onward and upward energy. Awakening, the Magician, the Hermit, and the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, onward and upward energy. You just need to do the Knight of Pentacles thing that we already talked about. So that is not elusive, what that means. Okay? So now let me give you what this is talking about in context. So with the Eight of Cups coming out, clarified by Ego 15, it lets me know that this Five of Water is the conflictions, or the conflicted emotions that are leading to this Eight of Cups and ultimately arising from this 15, or ego energy. So the ego, like, let's be clear why it says ego on here. This card says ego, and why it's always, somehow, this isn't too far behind it, right? When we actually have self-care, self-love, and we're doing the nurturing right thing for ourselves. Because ultimately, ego comes out to show aspects of us that we either we're not aware, right? That they were a limiting factor, or a self-debilitating factor, or a self-sabotaging factor, or whatever it is. And it shows the other extensions, or relationships, or aspects of life that are connected to those aspects of self that we were not aware that it really is the link to our lack of fulfillment and happiness in life. And so once we realize that, right, it's easy for us to, it looks like this. It looks like Eight of Cups walking away from everything. But ultimately, it's realizing that we're attached to things that were an effect, right, or results of the ego aspects that we truly never desired in life. We had an ego that led to the Hermit, which ultimately can't even be seen here anymore, because the Hermit disappears once it becomes exalted in the Magician. The only thing left is the Hermit's light. See that? And so at the end of the day, right, and then it has the power and wisdom of the Magician to utilize everything that it's gone through, or you've gone through as the Hermit, and utilize that light to help and awaken others while keeping practical and stable and functional, and making sure you're not being too material, but understanding you will be successful and victorious while releasing the ego and stepping away from all that no longer serves you, and releasing the emotional cords and detaching from the emotional attachment to the old narrative or any other incomplete outcomes. And ultimately stepping into this new beginning and releasing all of the emotional conflicts that came with any of the situations that needed to be walked away from, right? And the clarifier cards, right, that showed us what this new beginning was, well, this is new depths in intuition. This is also, for some, secrets being exposed. But this is more importantly, for everybody, this is what is in the dark coming to the light one way or another. That is the energy on Gaia, okay? So things are coming to the light right now, and things will be exposed. So this is about authenticity as well. This is about finding the things with the dragonfly on there that spiritually lights you up, right? And provide a fulfillment and a joy and a bright and this sunny energy with that yellow dandelion. Is that what that is? I don't know. But at the end of the day, that is a dragonfly. And that dragonfly is the highest symbol of spiritual transformation in the cosmos, because it has the most rapid transformation of any other creature in the universe. And its transformation is more profound, right? The difference in the environment from when it is young to when it is an adult is completely different. It's like us being kids and living in the ocean, and then eventually we start flying through the air as adults, right? That's the equivalent to what it would be like if humans were like dragonflies, and then we did it in this weird amount of time, right? Like literally, it's such a rapid transformation from going from 3 to 7 years in some aquatic environment, and then just kind of coming out, shedding whatever that was, that the nymph body, and then off you go, and you never really touch the water again until it's time to go lay eggs or whatever. So at the end of the day, that's that kind of energy where it's the most high transformative energy, right? Most people who are exalted spiritually are called spiritual butterflies. Well, people like ascended masters, Jesus, they're called spiritual dragonflies, right? That's a rapid transformation. Where you go out to the desert and you come back in 3 days and you're just like, I've been touched by everything in the universe. So this, the moon, shows that you have this deeper insight into truth that's coming. It also shows with the dragonfly and the butterfly, right? Butterfly right here, dragonfly right there, and the connection to the links. It shows not only is there this regal energy and something that's coming online, but there are also two spiritual gifts that you're going to be made aware of, and they are connected to communication and higher truth and insight. So this is third eye and throat chakra energy. So be prepared for that, and also be prepared to be authentic about what you say and saying what you want, what you mean authentically, okay? Because that's what you're being called to do. This is the energy of unapologetically you in the new season. This is also showing that you have divine wisdom and insight on your side, and it's showing that a practical plan will lead to the awakening of yourself and others, ultimately leaving some aspects of the ego, which is aspects of the external world that we don't like, which is ultimately aspects of our internal world that we need to change, that are going to lead to either you walking away or you have already walked away. So you are in this new beginning energy. Things are changing for you on an emotional level. Be patient with yourself at this time. Respect whatever your moods are, and understand how things that are in your external world are affecting you. Just be aware of how external stimuli are affecting your senses and your emotions at this time, because that is this moon energy where you are recalibrating to compassion, peace, understanding, and a new awareness and connection to your psychic senses, your intuitive abilities, and to your community. And so because of that, it is important to trust your intuition, even if you're unsure of what's happening. All will be revealed soon, so worry is unnecessary, okay? Ultimately, you do not need to worry. You will be successful, okay? And you are in this Queen of Water energy, or you're calibrating to Queen of Water, Queen of Cups energy. And so that's why the Five of Water is coming up to clarify this Ace of Pentacles. Because the Ace of Pentacles made you feel the changes. It changed you emotionally, right? Like you were like, I don't know how I feel about this, but you were aware that whatever you walked away from and whatever you were releasing with this ego card was exactly what needed to be, right? And you were aware that it was leading you to this new beginning, and you knew that your emotional state was going to change, and you didn't know how it was going to be, but now you're recalibrating, right? Either you've been here for a while, or you're going to understand once you get here that the change or the conflicted emotions, the conflicted water, the Five of Water, is only right where you need to be focusing upon the fact that Source loves you and doing all the things, is only because you're recalibrating from whatever it was that got you through this tournament, that got you into this awakening, and ultimately is leaving you in this victorious state. But it's also making you feel a bit at odds with your community, and maybe making you hold on to your material aspects too tightly, right? So you're holding on to your relationships a little tighter. You're holding on to your material wealth a little bit tighter. You're holding on to all of your physical world a little bit tighter, right? You're holding on to maybe even an unnecessary or an emotionally draining or unfulfilling job a little bit tighter. or that maybe that's what you're walking away from. For some of you, it's a job. For some of you, it's a relationship. For some of you, this is a business partnership. For some of you, this is a neighborhood. For some of you, this is just a community. And for others of you, this is a family. All right? All right. Or this is family. And and for some of you, this is family. This is people that you felt like were family, but ultimately, you know what I mean? This is like chosen family where I didn't choose so well. So okay, or my ego chose for me, and I'm starting to see through that. I'm trying to be the magician and not the hermit anymore. It's that energy. So you are in that Queen of Cups energy, which obviously is not hermit energy, but it definitely can be a very magnetic, right? Magnetically alluring and creative, functionally attractive energy that is really in the senses, right? We already talked about that with the Page of Cups that came out in the bottom of the deck, but ultimately, with this Five of Water changing your reality, and ultimately that Five of Pentacles. So for the Five of Pentacles to come out with the Five of Water and the Queen of Water, not only does that mean that this could be a woman, a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces, or just an intuitive and psychically inclined woman, right? Someone who's compassionate, loving, giving, that could come into your world and change, right, your emotional state or the way that you fundamentally feel about your reality by providing whatever this new beginning is. Could be a new job, could be a new collaboration, could be a new relationship. It could just be a new community or sense of community, with the Three of Cups also coming out from the bottom of the deck. So those are the aspects you're not seeing, though. Remember, you're not seeing this creative thing that's coming out or that is about to evoke itself from you, and you're not seeing the community that's coming from you expressing it with that third eye insight and that true communication and compassion of the heart with the Queen of Water coming out. So the Swan says, this is a time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. Be mindful you don't ignore your own needs while caring for others. Right, and trust your intuition as well. All right? Focus upon the fact that Source loves you, and know that there is a new beginning coming. So the other clarify card, obviously the Moon, it's important to trust your intuition. Like I said, even if you're unsure what's happening, all will be revealed soon, so worry is unnecessary. And the Strength card coming out to clarify that, right, at the end of the day, there it is. That's the other exalted card, right, with that Strength card coming out, just like the Magician. It just doesn't, oh, it does have it on there. It's really, really light. Let me see if I can get it up there. See that? Look at that. It's right there. And that's it, right? So it has that other infinity symbol. And because it has it on there, well, we already know that means a deeper connection to the divine. So now we have a double deep connection to the divine, right? And it's coming through psychic abilities, this new understanding of this emotional state or the way that your emotions are changing and your understanding of them, right? Stepping into this Queen of Cups energy, but also could be a Queen of Cups energy that comes into your life, changes your life, and gets you into an intuitive state, maybe where you trust your intuition and your psychic abilities more, but ultimately giving you true strength and control over your mind, control over the old narrative and the old non-beneficial thoughts, or even the fears, doubts, worries, and all of the self-sabotaging patterns that may have been hindering you from this new beginning and this new lease on your emotional state and trusting yourself and just being the compassionate, understanding, giving but nurturing but healthy boundaries, right? So the Queen of Cups is also the one who knows it's okay to say no, right? And who's not afraid to say no. She'll say it maybe in a compassionate way, but she is not afraid to enforce her boundaries, and she is not going to let you make her feel bad because she said no. So that is the other side of that heart energy. And that's the strongest, most loving energy in this deck, or in any tarot deck, Queen of Cups. And so at the end of the day, even the Queen of Cups knows how to say no. Okay? And the Star comes out to be clarified, right? Your exaltation, or right? Or you're pouring your energy into the land, pouring your energy into the water, and keeping connected to divine higher truth while you stand in your power and your full essence beingness in this Queen of Water energy, and the Star coming out exalting or clarifying the Ace of Pentacles energy. and ultimately clarified, right? The star is clarified by the King of Earth. Look at that. So what that means is you are embodying, okay, you are feeling, vibrating the Queen of Water energy, which is very powerful, Venusian, loving, exalted, psychic, emotionally intelligent, just caring, kind, giving energies. Okay, compassionate energy. And then, so that's what you're holding on the inside. What a beautiful frequency or vibration to hold on the inside. So your frequency, however, is the King of Earth, right? The King of Pentacles. Now that's a powerful frequency and vibration to hold. The Queen of Water and the King of Pentacles, because that's you. That's you, right? With this new beginning, the new beginning is being called in by the vibration of the Queen of Water. So that lets you know this new vibration and this new this new vibration and this new emotional state or this new feeling that you're embodying is what's calling in that Ace of Pentacles. That's what's calling it in, right? And we can already see that it's a change in your emotional state and it's a new lease on life and it's a deeper it's things coming into the light, right, in your life, but it's also a deeper connection to your intuitive and psychic abilities and better control over your mind and the negative internal dialogue or self-sabotaging aspects and fears and phobias or any other worries and overthinking in your life. And this comes out as the star, showing that you'll be successful, showing your rejuvenation, showing it's a recalibration of the central nervous system, showing that you're now pouring, right, yourself into the earth, yourself into the emotional state or the water of the earth, and having more than enough to do so. So sustenance and fulfillment for others is what that equals, right? We already talked about that in this light and magician energy. And that is the King of Earth. That's how much abundance is connected to that Four of Pentacles and that Chariot energy, right? Success, victory, and the Four of Earth with the Pentacles. So don't let it alienate you from the community, right? Three of Cups and Page of Cups on the bottom of the deck showed us that community is a big part of this. And you're a big part of who they need you to be, okay? They're a big part of who they need you to be because you're light and the way that you are going to help them to see all the tools they have and all the growth in their lives and how much they're reaching for and what the divine is trying to help them with. And then consolidating that and really utilizing all those skills or whatever resources they have in their world to create the life they love. And you're going to help them do all that. And that's a beautiful thing. Wow. So the Knight of Pentacles coming out with Awakening just shows that that plan, confirmation received, whatever that plan is, whatever this is, it equals you awakening others, and maybe it's the Great Awakening, right? Because that's what it's about. That this is, planetary ascension is awakening. And, look at things in a different way, and all will make sense. Don't worry. If your progress is halted temporarily, things will soon start moving again. So that is beautiful. This King of Earth says everything's going to turn out great. Now that's 3 confirmation cards about it all working out in your favor. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible, and money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. And that's all the energy that I've already said here. We don't even have to go back over it. Okay, this has been a very long reading. We still need to do Celestial Code 5222. So I will leave the cards there. I'm like, if I dissect this anymore, they'll be like, oh my gosh, he told me my whole everything. All right, so I'm just dropping cards. All right, so let's talk about the Celestial Code right now, right? Because we talked about it, and I feel like we are already a reading in, and we just need to get to that. So obviously, I already explained the angel number thing that I do on my channel in the beginning, and so if you watch the channel, that is why this message is different. If this is your message and you're in this message, that's why this message is different, because this is a collective channeled angel number message or celestial code message. All right, so just know that 5222 in this celestial code reading or this reading is the old chapter has already ended energetically. Just know that. Now your actions must catch up with your inner transformation. So the energy of 5 speaks of positive change, freedom, necessary transitions, choosing a new direction, breaking old patterns. The repeated 222 emphasizes balance, trust, destiny, you guys. Remember, 222 is the celestial code of destiny. It's one of them. And the trust and healthy relationships and cooperation. It's too amplified, right? Divine timing through consistent action rather than force is the other thing. Remember that, because that's the other message of strength in any reading is it's divine timing, right? Not forcing things, allowing things to flow, and then not being negative or being too subdued by our thoughts when things aren't going as fast as we thought they should because we're not in sync or synchronized with divine timing. So it's a powerful message coming through that divine timing through consistent action rather than force is what is being emphasized here with 5222 coming out as this celestial code of the day. Together, 5222 symbolizes change is already unfolding, so you don't need to worry. Stay balanced while building what comes next. What this means for today's collective is that the reading suggests many people have already released an unhealthy attachment or are being called to establish stronger, right, personal boundaries and begun thinking differently about themselves. Ultimately, started stepping into a new identity. And now the invitation is to stop waiting for certainty before acting. Instead, trust the new version of yourself and let your daily habits reflect your future rather than your past. And allow relationships that honor your boundaries to grow naturally. Release any of that ego or devil energy and build consistently instead of seeking instant results with that Knight of Pentacles energy. Love, okay? If you're hoping for love with the 5222 energy, it encourages creating space for healthier connections rather than trying to recreate old dynamics. And ask yourself, does this relationship support the person I'm becoming? For career and purpose, this number often aligns with beginning a meaningful project. So sharing your gifts more openly, trusting your creative instincts, and taking one practical step each day. I cannot stress enough that Spirit is saying one practical step each day and remembering to celebrate small wins and knowing that each small step is big leaps in the eyes of the divine. What is small in your eyes is huge in the eyes of the divine, is what I'm hearing at this time. Taking one practical step each day. Progress comes from momentum, not perfection. Remember that. This is also about personal growth. So the repeated twos also highlight harmony between mind and heart, intuition and action, and receiving and creating, which is divine feminine and divine masculine energy. Divine feminine is the receiving energy. Divine masculine is the creating energy. And this is always the true dynamic in this reality that they're speaking of when they speak to humanity in retrospect of their energy being in the energy of divine feminine or divine masculine energy, empress or emperor energy, receiving and creating, luxury and organizing, boundaries and nurturing energy. So rest and disciplined effort, okay? And your next season is built through small, consistent choices. Remember that. The collective affirmation for this 5222 celestial oracle code, okay? Celestial code in general, is I release what no longer reflects who I am. I trust the changes unfolding in my life. I honor my boundaries with confidence and compassion. Every step I take today strengthens the future I am creating. I welcome love, purpose, peace, and abundance with an open heart. Rest safe firmly in the knowledge that everything is unfolding and truly working out for you the way it is supposed to. Even especially if, okay? I'm hearing especially if it feels like it isn't for you. Blessings in disguise are on the horizon for many, and miracles are unfolding in the lives of all of us who resonate with being in our highest timeline or taking steps in the fourth dimension of the mind and the transformation, okay? So utilizing that consciousness to transform ourselves or our lives. So if any of that resonates with you, and please only take what resonates and lovingly leave what does not. But at the end of the day, if you're in this collective reading, there are transformative messages here for you. So let's actually do one crystal energy card so we can see exactly what. And it was. Ruby came out. Okay. So I was like, we're going to flip it again. And if it, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't want to flip a card and then not have it come out on camera. That's rude. So anyway, Ruby, it came out again. Ruby is passion, love, and precious memories. I love it. So I had the right message all along. Your passion for someone you love is being rekindled. Know that. And you will soon find yourself glowing with a newfound sense of joy and wonder for life. As you find yourself reflecting on all the blessings and precious memories derived from this beautiful relationship, you realize that bad times are easily forgotten, but precious memories of love live forever. Love is an ocean which forever ebbs and flows, at times a raging sea, at times tranquil and calm, but it is worth experiencing. I love you all. I love you all. If you're not a subscriber and you're this far in the message, do please consider subscribing. I would love to have you around. As you know, I read for the collective, Earth Angels, Starseeds, Divine Royalty, and all of the like. So ultimately, that is who my small collective, my small community is. So if you're in this reading, know that there are messages in this reading for you. And if you found yourself in the end of this reading, then this entire reading and all of the positive messages contained within are for you. So I wish you confirmation received. I send you all my light, my love, and my blessings. And I will see you all in my next reading.